Ready?
Yes.
Going live. We are live. Hello. Welcome. Good morning.
Good morning.
This is the Flipside. I'm Sam.
I'm Jessie.
And we usually do this every Saturday if we have time. When football season rolls around, we may not have time every Saturday to do something like this.
Well,
However,
we have less time, but we'd still try.
We have less time, but we do have this going for us as far as what we do on Saturday morning. Indeed.
True.
David Brownlee is here. Howdy, howdy. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Tom is here as well. Hello,
Good
hello.
morning.
Just found out Tom's going to be at Dice Tower West.
Woo!
Yeah.
I won't.
It took a buddy of his flying in from the UK to come to Dice Tower West. I wasn't good enough.
But he just hung out with you on the cruise.
I know.
Although, that being said, that's awesome. I'm glad he's going.
You cut
That'll
me
be
deep,
fun.
Shrek. You cut me deep, Shrek. Just kidding. It's all good. It's be good to see you. Blake Cabney says, how are you guys? I'm currently watching my sick nephew.
Oh,
What's he doing?
poor Bubby.
He said he's watching him, so what is he doing?
Oh, stop.
Karen says she set her alarm this time. Well
Ooh la
done.
la.
Well done. The Whoop Sick
la
is
la.
here. Polish contingent has
Nobody
shown
did.
up. Thank you for being here. Whoop. Appreciate you. Good to see you both. Yep.
No, it's Dobry Dats, right? How do I say good morning? It's not Dobry Den, it's Dobry Dats in Polish. Dobry Dats.
It sounds Russian,
Dobry Den is Czech.
which also is
similar.
based on Russian. It's also
Dobry Dats.
Cyrillic.
Dobry Dats.
Cyrillic, is that where all
We'd
that
have to
comes
ask
from? The
Misty.
Cyrillic alphabet, I think.
One of my best friends spent time in Poland teaching English.
She was locked up for drinking too much booze. Just kidding. Misty knows I'm just
Misty
kidding.
knows we're kidding.
She's not watching this anyway.
No. It's a Saturday morning with 3 teenagers in her house. She doesn't have time.
For me, it's almost like you flying to Orlando for Dice Tower East.
Maybe.
Well, that could, might, maybe, possibly be a thing. We just have to wait and see. Tom asked. Then he has to talk to Sharon
Oh, yeah.
to see if we still have rooms available, because I said I
Nice.
would want to bring you guys if we did do that.
Well,
So it's in.
We'll see.
It's in the summer.
yes.
So, something we might be able to do. Vanessa Garritan is here. Vanessa G. The OG Vanessa.
I really like this mats, too. It's pretty.
All of them are pretty. All of them are good. Game Toppers mats are the best
They're
in
beautiful.
the
I
industry.
really-
Yeah?
Yeah.
They are good.
I really
There's
like
nothing
them.
we can
They're
do
just
about
beautiful.
that. All right. Before we get too far into this, we're already 3:20 in. I've probably
20 minutes in?
3 minutes, 3:20 minutes
Oh,
in.
goodness
3:20.
gracious. Okay.
That's a cool looking shirt, Sam. Thank you, Vanessa. I just got it in yesterday, so I bought it, had it come in. I really enjoy it. My dad was Air Force, so that means some. Although these aren't really Air Force silhouettes, I think these are Tomcat silhouettes, or very close to it. But I liked the shirt, so I went ahead and got it. Thank you. So Sam can just bunk with Z. Blake says, probably not. But and there's nothing there. It's just that
We'll see
probably
what happens.
not.
We'll see what happens.
Because I'm being added into that mix. I think most of their sleeping arrangements and all of that kind of stuff
They've
are
been
already,
set for years.
are already not years, but months probably.
Yes.
They've already been set.
all
So okay, just let me know if I'm in your way there, Strider. He's currently laying on my foot. Thank you. Sorry.
Okay, so you had said before I
So,
interrupted, 3
yeah.
minutes and 20 seconds.
3 minutes, 20 seconds. Yes, thank you very much. Before you interrupted, before I was so rudely interrupted. Okay, so we're not going to talk about socialism. Not going to do that at all. And by the way, that's as close. Matter of fact, I thought twice about putting that title on there because that's about as close to clickbait as you will ever get on this channel. I just thought it was funny because we're going to talk about how social of a month we have this month. In other words, we have a whole lot of meetings and a whole lot of group meetings and game nights and game events and all that kind of stuff. So this month is like super social. And I was like, oh, we're having a socialistic month. And just the play on words. That's all that is. Don't come in with your hackles up, ready to whatever.
Political battle because I just go.
This is not Facebook, so we're not going to do that. I know it was a joke anyway. Exactly, it's just a joke. That is all. But anyway, we have this is how we'll start the conversation, I guess, and then we'll get on to whatever you guys want to talk about. As per normal, we do have a small unboxing that I got from Barnmade Games. I met Isaac on the way back from PAX Unplugged, and he, myself, and another gentleman that is also a content creator that lives over in the Seattle area. We were able to play some games while we were waiting for our flight back, and we made a cool connection there. It's I've met Isaac before, but it's been a while, so that was kind of a reacquaintancing, and for the life of me, I can't remember. I suck at names. I super suck at names.
And I can help him if I meet the people, but if I don't meet the people, I can't help you.
You did not meet the person, so I have been.
So Sam's just gonna sit and scroll through his phone.
There's Barnmade Games. There's Armando Castaneda. Between Two Meeples, he has his own channel. Between Two Meeples, Armando Castaneda and Isaac. I was able to sit there and play games with both of them. So that proves to you that I just suck at names. I remember people and I remember stuff. I suck at names. Anyway, Armando and Isaac, we had a great time in the Philly airport playing games, and Isaac said that he's making some games of his own, designing his own games, making his own company. So I was like, yeah, I want to connect with you. So he sent me a little introductory package for Barnmade Games, and so we'll unbox that later on. Dzień dobry.
Dzień dobry.
Or dzień dobry. Dzień dobry.
Dzień dobry.
Dzień dobry.
Dzień dobry.
What's he doing between those two meeples? He's playing games. I think I haven't watched a whole lot of his content. I've just been keeping in touch with him through posts on Instagram and that kind of thing. And and he is, I think it's him and his wife that do things. So the Two Meeples are he and his wife, and Between Two Meeples, that's what they do.
That's fine. Cool.
So he does a lot of reviews and that kind of thing, but he also does some content with the wife. So I think that's where it is. So that's it. Awesome, the Whoopsick says. Dzień dobry.
Dzień dobry.
What does that mean?
Good
Again,
morning.
what are we saying?
Good morning.
Good morning. Ah, okay.
When I was in the Czech Republic, one of my students, the Viking, that's a totally different story, but her name was actually Dobra, which meant good woman. She was huge.
David Brownlee says, well, nuts. I thought we were getting free games by taking them from the Game Rich. Nope. Although, with that being said, there have been a slew. We'll get back to what we were talking about. There's been a slew of posts in the last few days of content creators doing purges, culling their collection. And Man vs. Meeple was one of them. And David was sitting there hugging a box that they had pixelated out, and I can tell it's Kingsburg. And if he got rid of Kingsburg, he's going to have to explain himself. Because Kingsburg is not something that gets culled. It is a classic game. You don't cull the classics. You don't. Period.
Yes.
Unless you just don't like them. And
Maybe.
he was hugging it. He was hugging that box. And it was pixelated, and I know it's Kingsburg. And he was hugging it, so I know he likes it. Why would you get rid of a classic that you like? That doesn't make any sense to me, David. He's not going to watch this. But you guys that, I know there's a network. You can let him know and he needs to come to me for help, because that's not cool. Anyway, there's been a lot of cold collections. I'm probably going to be doing it here in a little bit too. We just have too
Maybe
many
after
games.
Dice Tower Rest.
We have too many games. Too many games.
Okay, after Dice Tower Rest.
And I need to get rid of some of the stuff that I've already provided content for, so that I can see the ones that I still need to do and have a good grasp on that. Let's see. How many courts as a slew? I don't know what that means.
You said a slew of something.
Yeah, there have been a slew. Oh,
Right.
how many counts as a slew?
Yes.
Oh, counts. I don't think a slew
Is a
is
physical
a
term?
set
I don't know.
number.
I'm making
It's
the blank
just
face going,
means that there's a lot. I
don't
will
know.
look it up. Now I have to learn how to spell it.
I know. All I came up with is like the slough, like a small tributary of
Okay,
water.
that's yeah, a slew of books. See, the problem is that it's also the past tense of slain or slay. When you slew, he
And there's
slew
a
somebody. So
slew-
that's
there's a
not what I'm
tributary of-
talking about.
No, not that. There's a slough of water. A tributary is a slough.
I'm looking at
No,
Merriam-Webster.
not that way. Not spelled that way.
Merriam, that's how it's spelled. A large number.
Okay.
That's what it is. I'm not talking about a river. I'm not talking about a tributary. I'm talking about a slough. A large number. There's a mic on that phone and I just dropped it. Yes, I did. Yes.
I don't buy it.
All right. Vanessa says, Blake says, why do you think they had to pixelate it out? Yeah, right? Because he's going to get hate mail for doing it. That's why. I only played Kingsburg once. I liked it, but I haven't played it since. Well, not everybody's perfect, Vanessa. And you just showed some of your imperfection, madam. Speaking of calling classics, what classic game do you not like? Again, you have to define what classic means, and for me, classic can mean different things to different people. Some people would call Monopoly a classic game. I abhor Monopoly for a number of different reasons. What classic game do I not like?
Well, you probably don't have it if you don't like it.
I don't.
So
But other games can make me
trigger that. Think of
makes
it.
makes my brain jog. I don't know. I mean, chess, checkers, those are classic games. Backgammon's classic game. I mean, but those are like traditionally classic. That's not necessarily classic with us. I like Power Grid. I'm just not good at it, so that doesn't really count because I like it. I don't really like Catan or Catan, whatever you say. So I guess that would be considered it. Well, I have one version of it, and it's a specific version, the Germany one. And I like that one because it's about Germany. It's not some fictitious land out in the middle of nowhere that people are running around robbing each other on. It's just one of those things. So sometimes you have to get rid of things that you don't like. Things you like if you have space constraints. I know. Though I would know nothing about that, I keep everything. Classic game I don't like, Cosmic Encounter. Well, I don't like it as much as other people have in the past. Certainly don't like it as much as Tom does. But Cosmic Encounter grew on me for a while. I like it fine. I just don't love it as other people do. It's just a negotiation game to me. And if you're not good at negotiation, or if people are just not in the right mood to have a frolicky negotiating game time, it's not very fun. Greetings, Chrissy says. I see I came in time for the old controversial how many courts and slew debate.
I mean, really, it's a real thing.
Not really. I need to cull my collection, David says. To date, I have only shed a couple of games. I detest Flux and Cards Against Humanity. I really don't like Cards Against Humanity. I think Cards Against Humanity was just, how can we sit around a table, get drunk, and then say a whole bunch of cuss words and laugh about it?
Right.
That's pretty much my summation of Cards Against Humanity. I know it's not that, but that's just the vibe that I get from it, and I don't enjoy those kinds of games. And Flux is just, it changes too much. Get it? Get it?
That was good. It fluctuates. That was pretty funny, honey.
Sam, now I have to learn how to spell it, even though he could have gotten the spelling from my comment. Well, I didn't know if you spelled it right, Blake.
That's pretty funny, though.
It is.
Because he said, I have to look it up.
Yeah, I do. I do have to look it up. As far as I know, nobody I know owns it. I'm assuming that means Cosmic Encounter. I saw a meme online that says adulthood is trying to decide whether or not to keep a box because it's a really good box.
Don't talk about good boxes.
Don't go into our garage.
We have a lot of good boxes
We have
out
a lot
there.
of good boxes because we do have a lot of things that could possibly be shipped at any moment in time. So we do keep a lot of
We have a lot of good boxes.
Yes, we do.
My mom is also a good box person. She will keep a good box for years down in her basement.
That's true. Yeah. But she actually breaks them down and stores them. We don't.
She breaks them down and stores them flat.
Yeah.
In a box in another box. Of a good box.
Use boxes to store boxes.
Yes,
That's efficiency right there, y'all.
She keeps the good boxes.
Tom says, I'm not a fan of Catan. Oh, look at that. He was a poet, didn't know it. Sam doesn't like Catan either. That is correct. Chris Yee, speaking of classics, what do you consider some true modern classics?
Oh, that's a good question.
What do you consider some true modern classics? I believe that there are some games that can attain that classic dumb. Like instead of kingdom, it's classic dumb. I'm just making words up.
Sure.
Right
my
off the
brain
bat.
hurt.
So it's for me. It's not a.
Okay, so what do you think
it's
can
not
do
a
that?
thing of age. It's not talking about how old the game is or anything like that. So when you say modern classics, as Chris
Right,
has,
like what?
that's almost like a contradiction in terms to some people.
Okay.
But I understand what he's talking about. Like what games are not Monopoly, not those kinds of things
Right,
that are classic.
Right, I agree. So, what do you think?
I would say Raw would be a modern classic. Let's see. I am going to look around. I think Blood Rage is a modern classic. That's just a personal opinion, however.
We're surprised.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. I think Champions of Midgard is a modern classic. I think Shadows over Camelot is a modern classic. Colosseum, modern classic. I think Small World would be a modern classic. And again, these are all games that are probably super my opinion. I think Seven Wonders is a modern classic. Stone Age, modern classic. Ticket to Ride, definitely a classic. I don't know if it's young enough to be considered a modern classic, but I think it's a classic one. Memoir 44 is a modern classic. Cleopatra, The Society of Architects. I think even something like Deception, Murder in Hong Kong would be, for me, a modern classic. So that kind of gives you some parameters. Amun-Re, even though they just had their new deluxe version come out this year, I think that would be a classic, a modern classic. So hopefully that's that helps you do stuff. And Blake even said it. Modern classic is an oxymoron. In my opinion, if it's modern, it's not a classic. It's okay, Blake, you can be wrong. It's all right, it's fine, don't worry about it. It's, I'm not gonna, think of you any less, but you can be wrong. You don't have to be good at negotiation, just betray your wife like Tom does. Exactly. That is a way to, Vanessa says, negotiation games are yuck.
I think I mean, we've talked about this a lot. Vanessa and I would agree. I'm like, I don't think, I've never played that, but I don't think I would like to.
Cards Against Humanity, Blake says, has a family edition. See, here's the thing. If you need a family edition,
you shouldn't have put all those
something
cuss words
went
in the
awry
first one.
earlier. Games should be family oriented. It's not that singles and adults that don't have kids, which I believe is probably the moniker of a family, which in my opinion is also a little bit off. If there is a husband and a wife, I think that is a family.
Yes.
That's the core unit of a family. Your family simply grows from that point.
Yeah.
But if you're single, you don't need a non-family game in order to have fun. You can still have fun with family games, so why do games need to make their risque version and a family version?
There is a whole a subsect of games that are adult drinking games, basically.
Sure. Yeah, pub games.
Yeah.
Yeah, or
that
game,
are meant to, they
not
definitely
necessarily
have cuss
drinking
words,
games, but games that have that you can play in a pub around a table,
Right.
And all that kind of stuff. I get it.
There's a whole bunch of, adult only, adult version, not kid friendly.
Right. Yeah, but I don't.
We don't have
I
any
have
of it.
no interest in any of those. No. None whatsoever. None. I don't even care if they have a family edition. I also don't like the game that much either. It's just the fact that usually when people post pictures about stuff, and when it's about Cards Against Humanity,
Yeah, it's always something naughty.
it's usually a NSFW joke that they made during a joke that now they're proliferating on the internet now. And I know that's commonplace on the internet. I'm not doing that. But that's not the kind of fun that I want to have. I don't want to have to make dirty jokes in order to have fun. That's just the long and the short of it. I'm not saying that there is anything necessarily wrong with that. I'm just saying that's not what I consider fun. That's why I don't like Cards Against Humanity. And I'm not interested in their family edition either. Because I don't want to give them any... they don't need any help. They don't need any support. They're so big right now. It doesn't matter. But that's just my opinion.
Sure.
That sounded like a Seattle version of Bless Your Heart.
Bless your heart.
Yeah. Let's see here. I don't need to cull yet, Tom says. I have 4 empty spaces in my
In the new space?
I need more games. I can't have empty space.
No. You have to fix this problem.
Just do what Mel over at Mel's Board Game does and just face them front out. And then you don't have any more space. You don't have any more space. You don't have an empty space because you face out some of your board games. Don't put them in like books. Don't stack them. Just put them face out, and that takes care of all the space until you buy more games.
Until you get more games, and you have 4 games
now
that you
can
need.
make more space. Let's see. Let's see.
What game do we
Vanessa
have that Tom
says,
needs?
actually, I meant Kingsburg. Oh, I see. When I thought she was talking about Cosmic Encounter, somebody not having it or something to that
She
effect,
said
she meant
Kingsburg.
Kingsburg. I'm sure somebody I know owns Cosmic. It's also not a game that gets played in our group. Well, most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, most groups want to play the new stuff.
Yeah. Last night at game night, somebody asked me.
Let's go back to that. Let's go, because that's what we were doing. We were talking about how social our month
had
is, and let's talk
such
about last night.
A fun game night.
Yes.
Such a fun game night. We hosted it at a local coffee shop, Steamers West.
Yeah.
We had quite a few people come in. I didn't count, but we had every table full at one point.
Most points.
I mean, almost all night.
Almost all night.
Until about 8 o'clock, we had every
yeah.
table full.
Yep.
And lots of new people coming in.
Yep.
Some new families, some new young single people. It was so much fun. But I had somebody ask me, as I was trying to teach one game, and I think I was playing on another game.
Okay, here's what happened. Dante was playing a game.
Yes.
And we got started a little bit late, and then he had to get up and get ready for his
He had a jazz
workshop
performance.
concert
Yeah.
that he was doing last night. And so he had to get up and get dressed, and so he couldn't play his part in the game anymore. So
I had
Jess
to
was
take him.
just floating. She was a
I
floater.
was I took his spot.
Yep.
I was doing this.
Yep.
And while all of that was happening, which was already causing me stress because I was literally trying to talk to like 7 people at a time. And I'm really big on making connections with people.
Yes.
So I want to sit at a table and talk to this person and make eye contact and engage.
That's why she remembers names and I don't.
That's why I remember.
Not
That's
that
why
I don't want to engage, it's that I get focused on the engagement part and I forget what your name is.
Yeah, I like to connect, like to actually make a connection. And so me flitting between games feels very wrong because I don't get to give people the attention I feel they should have. Like I felt really bad about Gene and Mary last night because I didn't get to sit with them. I didn't like being able to flit around and not being able to sit and connect. But as I was flitting, somebody asked me, they said, Jessie, do you want to play a game? They said, this one is, I don't even know what it was, but it was something. It goes, it should be a really fast one. I think it's 3.5 hours. And I looked at him like he was speaking Chinese. And I'm like, I can't even play the 3 games I'm already playing at one time.
This is Brian. He's a
Great gamer, good person.
Great friend of ours, great person. But he loves, first of all, he doesn't like cooperative games.
No.
He wants conflict in games.
He likes
and
to
he
beat you to
loves
smithereens.
games that are like 2+ hours.
Yes.
He loves Roman-themed games.
Yes, that's what it was. I don't know what it was.
And it was called After the Empire.
Oh my gosh.
You would have hated that game. You would have hated that game. He was playing it with a group of people when JT and I went up to Comus the last time when it was started snowing when we were up there. And we were there for about 3 hours, and he was there playing After the Empire with this other group of people for the entire time.
Yeah.
We played 3 games while he played the one.
Yeah.
And he was in hog heaven.
Right.
He loved it.
No,
and everybody else at the table loved it.
No, he asked me to play, and I really was like,
You would have literally stripped the paint off the walls.
No.
And there was no paint on the walls. It's natural wood in there. You would have hated that game.
I literally was like,
That's funny. I just remembered it was After the Empire. He was trying to get people to play.
oh, no. No.
Oh, that's funny. Oh,
And I
Brian.
felt bad because I know I have a face that shows everything. I know that.
Well,
I know that.
Brian
I'm sure my face went, no.
Brian loves that game, and he just wanted to play it.
I know.
And so he was trying to get anybody to play it that he possibly could have. He needs to read the room, though.
Yeah, me, not
You
me,
are not
man,
a
not
3-hour.
me, not.
Yeah, that's funny. That's absolutely funny. Funny. So if we were doing that, we had that. We had people playing Cheese Thief. We had people playing Splitto. We had people playing Rummikub. We had people playing
Junk Drawer. Say Anything.
Yep, Say Anything.
Cascadia.
Mice and Mystics got played last night. We played Cascadia Landmarks.
Horrified.
Horrified.
Greek monsters, specifically.
Yep. After Us.
Oh, After Us.
And
There was something going on the table behind you. And whatever Brian played. I'm sorry.
no, Brian was teaching a game to Jack.
Yes.
And I can't remember what game they played.
It had a white box. That's all I remember.
Well, that narrows it down.
Well, a little. Look behind you. There's a few white boxes.
So
It wasn't one we had, though.
yeah,
but
that was a good thing. That was a good night.
It was a really good night.
And Steamers West did well that night.
We've
last
had a
night,
couple
too.
social events this past week, and I have been feeling really good.
We started having new city group meetings.
Yeah,
at
a small group, church group.
At our house. We're hosting and facilitating them, and so that's
And
been
that
a very fun
filled
thing.
me with love. I felt really filled with that. And then we had game night this week, so I felt Sam doesn't love as much social things.
What?
As much as I do?
No, not as much as you do. No. She is like...
So we had
She's like the
2.
elf level. The way the elf loves Christmas, that's how she loves social events.
So we had 2 really big social events this week.
Yeah.
And my love meter feels full. Like, I was like, that was great. I had 2 good events. Sam's probably like, all right, we had 2. Let's kind of not be around people
chill out for a
couple
while.
days. And I'm like, let's go, let's go.
No, that's not true. We have
We have people coming over today.
A couple that came over came down from OMAG, Doug and Emily. They
Hi,
came
Doug and
down
Emily, if you're watching.
for game night last night, and then before they go back to OMAC today. You okay there?
I kind of missed.
Yeah, you did. Before they go back to OMAC, they're going to play some games before they leave this afternoon. So we're going to do that. And then next week, on Wednesday, we've got another city group that we're going to host. And then next Sunday, we've got the Wenatchee Wild game event that we're hosting for the local hockey team here in town. And then I think the week after that, we have a board game night at St. Paul's that we're going to be
That one
hosting
will be
for
fun because it's a
families.
very different type
Yeah.
of board game night than our others.
Kids and families.
It's kids and families. Like it's all. There will be a lot of kids.
So like all these games up here, like
Fireball Island, maybe?
Touchdown,
Yeah.
All Queen's Chess, and Pirate Ships, and Nuts.
Yeah, right.
Those are all games that we can take to that.
Yeah, it'll be super fun. So
yeah.
I'm really excited because that kind of blends two of my wheelhouses, kids and games and family.
Absolutely does.
So
that's what we meant by it's a very socialistic month
We have a
because
lot.
we are having to be very social this month.
dear
But that's fine. It's absolutely cool. What? Oh dear. What?
I don't know, something on Color Guard. It looks like a spreadsheet. I
who
can't
cares?
process that.
Who cares? All right. So we're going to get back, says my mom. Blake Cavaney says, my mom keeps boxes. So for Christmas, your present may be in a diaper box
Oh yeah.
or a ham box
Yeah,
or a shoe box.
No, that's very, very
It's one of the
valid.
reasons we keep it for presents. Yep. Chrissy says, welcome to Good Box, home of the Good Box. Can I take your order?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd like a
that's
really
cool.
big good box. Do you have a box that's about this big that's a good box?
Vanessa G says, my aunt actually found a fake prank products to put our real Christmas gifts in. They're pretty funny. So she found
Oh, so the box
Fake
looks like something.
boxes.
Oh, yeah, okay.
so that you can put your present in those fake
Right.
boxes so that on Christmas Day you think you're getting this, but you open it up, it's not that.
Oh, that's funny.
That's funny. Let's see. MB thinks Space Base is a modern classic. MB. Who is MB? Maybe he's talking about a wife? Is that like a pet name for his wife? MB? Maybe? I don't know. Maybe it's just a typo. I don't know. But he says somebody thinks that
Maybe.
Space Base
Yes,
is a
it
modern
is.
classic.
It is. It is.
Okay.
It is, for sure.
Um,
For sure. This person
Let's
I got
see
to spend a
here.
birthday with.
One time my
while we were on
dad's
the
work
cruise.
did a gag gift exchange. He gave the Good Employee Handbook in a pizza box that said, to Blake from Grandma. So his dad did all of that. That's funny. I don't understand the obsessive love for Raw. I've played it twice. Absolutely hated my first play, and I found it only meh my second play. Let me provide some context for my statement there. I believe that Raw is a classic because it's still around and being talked about. And it's being reprinted and it's selling still. It's an old game. And that to me, it's one of those things that I don't think that I don't think that it's a classic because I like it that much. I think it's a classic because it's still around and people are still playing it. That's why I think it's a classic. So I kind of float between. I do think, I think there was some more discussion about, classic and all that. We're about to get to it. But I think there's some more discussion going on about that. So I float between the two. I do think that there are definitely classics that are more traditionally, they fall into that traditional umbrella of being a classic. But I do think that there are others that are just as good, if not better than those classics, which in my opinion means that they are modern classics. All right? Because they've improved upon that foundation that the classics built. And so these are the new, whatever. Let's see. David Brownlee says, I think smartphone has the feel of a modern classic, but I also think classic implies large sales, and I don't know how well it's sold. Yeah. Well, to have these discussions, their opinion does enter into them. enter into that discussion. Opinion enters into it, because what I think might be a modern classic is not the same as what Jessie might think is a modern classic, or what Blake or what David thinks is a modern classic. So there's always opinion there. But again, like I said earlier, you always have the right to be wrong. We don't like negotiation games either, Tom says. Now, Space Base, that's my jam. Love that game, Vanessa says. Chrissy says, I think of the term modern classic to be shorthand for a game designed, or rather destined to be considered a classic in the future. Mm-hmm. Okay, I get it. I have a slightly different definition of that, but I can get behind that definition as well. Go For It Painting is here. Hello, hello. Good to see you. Appreciate it. Yes, I know what modern classic means, Blake says, but even still, you don't know. We've all seen things in which we don't understand why it's a classic. We've also seen things that aren't classics that should be. Got it. Like if, some car jockey that loves old cars thinks that this super obscure, nobody's ever heard of it unless you're, chest deep into the car world thing is a classic car. And nobody knows of it except for those who are super deep into that hobby. Is that a classic? Well, to them, yeah. To me, no. I couldn't care less if that car ever existed or if it continues to exist. So it's not a classic to me. Now, is it by definition, a classic? Maybe. But like what I said, Blake, what I think Blake is saying is you don't know if it's a classic or not. It all goes down to what you think, what your opinion, which I understand part of. But at the same time, there is a traditionally defined meaning for what the word classic is. Let's look it up.
You and the lookie. You don't need to look up.
Yeah, I do.
No.
Yeah, if
we
you're
have
going
people that are watching that can answer
exactly,
that for
and they
you.
can look it up too. They can look it up too. So it's not just me. Well, that's a video. That's not very cool. Classic definition and meaning. There we go. Serving as a standard of excellence of recognized value, characterized by, no, that's a fashion term, of or relating to the ancient Greeks or Romans or their culture, equals classical, historically memorable, okay? Noted because of special literary or historical associations. So there you go. And then if you capitalize the word classical, it's talking about a certain period of the Mesoamerican and especially Mayan culture, about 300 to 900 AD. So you get the idea. But I think the first one, serving as a standard of excellence of recognized value. So that doesn't really have any time constraint to it, right?
No.
There's no window of time that says that it is recognized as having real value.
No.
And unfortunately, it can also be very opinionated, because what I value...
Right, well, these are opinions, yeah.
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 What I value as a classic may not be what you value as a classic. So
Right. That
didn't help anything at all.
Well, good thing you looked it up.
But I sounded smart. No, I didn't. When you collect books, Pokemon cards, and K-pop albums, merch space doesn't exist.
Yeah, Blake. I can tell that was Blake.
Yep. K-pop entered into the question. Yeah. That's Blake. David Brownlee says, Cards Against Humanity cards are funny the first time through, but subsequent plays are no different than apples to apples, which, like Flux,
Right.
is an activity, not a game.
Right.
Fee is here. Hello. Hello, Fee. Good to see you. Blake, we got a little spice coming in. I can't agree, David. Different cards can be funny in different situations, so it could be funny every time depending on the situation. I would add to that, Blake, also depending upon the
Audience you're playing with.
the people that you're playing with,
Yeah.
and their level of humor and ability to play into that humor. I think that Cards Against Humanity is highly dependent upon the group of people that you're
Oh,
playing.
yeah.
Highly dependent, and that can be true. That can be said truly about a number of games. That's not an indictment, but I am one of those people that will not be the right group to play Cards Against Humanity in, because that's not my bag. Not what I enjoy. Chris says, I agree with you. There's no real telling what is and isn't. It does really come down to the group of people you're playing with.
Yeah.
From time to time.
Right.
So if you play Cards Against Humanity with the same group of people, it could always be funny, no matter what happens.
Right.
Because you've got a relationship with that core group of people,
Sure.
and there's a lot of probably inside jokes that are going on top of all of the other cards. So really, if you think about it, it's not really the cards that are funny, it's the experiences that are happening in the group.
Because one of the things I talk about why I love games is it's the moments, it's the memories,
Yes.
it's the experience, it's the laughter, it's the...
Yeah. It also... One of the things that Cards Against Humanity does is it throws... nothing is sacred with Cards Against Humanity. It jokes about things that I don't feel should be joked about in a mixed group of people.
Sure.
That's it.
Okay.
So
Leave it at that.
It leaves dignity at the door. That's all.
Okay.
And
Leave it at
again, that's me. That's me. Doesn't mean that anybody else is less dignified for playing it, but I don't like it because I feel like it leaves dignity at the door. Let's see. I've played a lot of Cards Against Humanity during lunch in high school.
Yeah, that would be the crowd.
That's the target demographic.
Right, that is right there.
And now we'll leave it right there. Thank you, Blake. You ended that conversation. Appreciate it. Vanessa says, Cards Against Humanity didn't exist when I was in high school. I bet you wish it did, Vanessa. Don't bang the table, you'll hurt yourself. You're right. I probably will. Vanessa says, maybe. I played enough of it when I first got into the hobby. Now I avoid those types of games. After the Empire is fun, Derek says. Good worker placement, tower defense type game.
I wasn't disagreeing that it would be fun. I just didn't want to sit to a 3-hour game in the middle of a game night that I'm hosting. Yeah. And flitting around like a butterfly.
Yeah, you literally can't play a 3-hour game.
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, I think I did take 2 hours.
Yeah, you did.
I took 2 hours to teach 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It was a 6-player game of After Us, and I was the only one that had played the game before.
I was trying to be there to help, but I couldn't.
No, you couldn't. You had to do other stuff. I got it.
I know.
You maybe saw me making the face a little bit because I was talking,
I know,
and then you would
I'm
start
trying,
talking,
because
and then I would
can
stop
explain-
and look at you.
I know.
You were
But there
trying to
were
help,
some
and I get
people
what.
that were
That's why I
really-
didn't say anything.
Some people. That was my fault. That's all.
It's not a fault. It was. I'm just glad.
I saw
After
your
a
face,
couple of
and
pins,
I
you were
walked
like,
away.
okay,
I was like, bye. I'm out. I can't help you guys. Bye.
She was side seat driving, y'all. That's what was going on. She was trying to help, and it was. I totally got what she was trying to do, because one of the ladies there was, I don't.
This was her first board game ever.
Yeah,
like really.
Yeah, they were both.
Yeah.
And they actually said it. They said, we're actually intimidated.
Right.
And I was like, please don't be.
Right. So that's why I was trying to help.
Because it's not that difficult. And I will say this, by about
they were
a third of the way into the game, they were like, oh yeah, this is cool. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. They got it.
Yeah.
They got it.
Yeah.
They got past that intimidation part.
Yeah. They said they had a good time.
That was the coolest thing about it. That was the coolest thing about it. But anyway.
One of my biggest struggles when we host a game night, or even when we host a city group or something, is I like I said, I really like to be involved. I like to connect. And it's really hard for me on game nights to sit down at a table and play. Yeah. And yet people are coming in the door and I'm not greeting them. Yeah. And people, are standing there looking for a game to play and I don't have a table to help push them onto. Yep. So frequently at game nights, I try to just not play just so that I can interact and get people seated and help them. And
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Or just take a few moments away from your game and say, "Hey, welcome."
Right, I do,
Here's
and
this,
that's
here's
hard
this,
too
and
because
you
then
come
I
back
get pulled.
because you're a talker,
I know.
and you pull yourself into don't
I gave
shit
that to
on
you.
me. But one of the cool things about it was now I spent 2 hours in a game with other people, but I was teaching 5 other people. I was introducing the hobby to 5 other people in the game. That's how I looked at that experience. Sitting down in a 3-player game that takes 3 hours.
Then that's not
The
teaching
balance
time.
the balance is off.
That's
at
not
that point.
teaching time. Oh, I would have lost my mind.
You would have, I guarantee it.
And I could tell he was kind of sad. He was like, I think you'd like it. I'm like, I know, but
I actually agree with you, Derek. It does. After the Empire does look like a fun game, just not her game. That's not a game for her. And that's not saying that she wouldn't be able to handle it.
No,
I'm saying she wouldn't enjoy it.
you guys, I have a certain limit, and most of my friends know that limit. And
Cascadia Landmarks
Yes.
equals excellence. Vanessa
we did
says.
Cascadia Landmarks. That was fun.
David Brownlee says, Blake, I agree with you. Still get some funny combos. However, the humor isn't. Judge doesn't understand the cards played. Your hand doesn't matter. Yeah, that's the whole apples to apples thing. You have to play to the hand of the mind.
Right, to the mind of
judge.
whoever's choosing.
Jesse confirmed it. Sam hates people. No, I don't hate people. Thanks for that, though.
Who said that?
Vanessa.
Vanessa. He doesn't hate people.
Blake says
He's just not as social as I am.
last Monday I won, which is saying I don't like Christmas as much as Elf. That's literally what that says. I still like Christmas. I still enjoy Christmas, but I'm not eating spaghetti with syrup and M&Ms and gumdrops and all this other kind of stuff. And freaking out every time I see a fake Santa.
I love being social. So it's kind of something I've always done. So.
I enjoy being social. But it's not from where I derive the bulk of my enjoyment.
Right.
Time for Christmas, I got a 6-foot stuffed gorilla.
One time for
One time for Christmas, I got a 6-foot stuffed gorilla. It was in a huge box. I thought it was a prank and something tiny would be in there.
That's funny. And it was a giant gorilla.
Shorten Maribeth.
Yes, that's what.
There we go.
I just didn't want to say that loud because I didn't know if anyone else ever even know.
I once wrapped an empty box thinking the item was in it.
Oh, I've actually done that.
Was on me, yep. Blake Cavaney says, my manager once told me she's wrapped all the Christmas presents and then realized she forgot to label them.
Also done that.
Also her. Sam, what games do you think are heading towards being a classic? Star Wars Rebellion? Maybe. It depends on how popular Star Wars continues to be, but I think it definitely could be. I think, at least in our area, I think Cascadia is definitely heading towards that way. It's one of those games that can be pulled out and enjoyed a lot. I think Heat might be headed that way as far as racing games are concerned. I think Wingspan is probably headed that way. We'll see how Wyrmspan does. I think Wyrmspan is a little bit more of a targeted audience as far as fantasy, people who like fantasy, whereas Wingspan was a little bit more carte blanche as far as that's concerned. It would have appealed to a wider group of people, just being a bird watching game basically. But Wyrmspan kind of focuses in a little bit more. I think it's going to be popular, don't get me wrong. But I don't know that it'll have the wide appeal that Wingspan does. Flamecraft, I think, could be headed for classic dumb. And I'm just kind of looking around as I go through, but I think Ticket to Ride's already there. So those are just a few. Let's see here. Vanessa's headed out to game day. See you later, Vanessa. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. What's wrong with fashion terms? Karl Lagerfeld is a classic designer. I have no idea who that is. None.
I don't know.
I have no idea who that is. Props for pronouncing indictment correctly. Well, it's not indictment.
Is that how people would say it?
No, that's how it's spelt.
Yeah.
But indictment is...
Indictment.
Yeah, you don't pronounce the C. I don't know the Flamme Rouge. I don't know that Flamme Rouge had the distribution to be a classic, but maybe Heat will become a classic. I think distribution in Target is probably a sign of cultural impact. Code names, maybe? Yeah, that could be. I mean, my problem with code names being considered a classic is what version are you talking about? There's so many different versions. They really milked the IP cow for code names. So, which made complete and total business sense. I'm not decrying that at all. They absolutely have probably set their company up to be very profitable for the foreseeable future by doing that. But are you talking about original code names? Are you talking about code names Disney, code names
Pictures,
G.I. Joe, code names Pictures? What? And maybe that's why you're saying that it's like a classic or headed for classicdom, because it has so many different versions that it's going to appeal. All those different versions are going to appeal to different pockets of people, and it's just going to proliferate that way. So I get it. How soon do you talk about board games with new people you meet? It depends. If they ask me what I do for a living, which seems to be one of the things that people ask really, really close to right off the bat, and here in the Valley, because we do have a large smattering of different kinds of things here in the Valley for as small as our valley is.
Right.
You can get anywhere from Farmer Joe all the way up to,
I called
big
it agriculture.
I'm just saying, Farmer Joe all the way up to like
Amazon's,
multi-billion-dollar company CEO.
Yeah.
They're all here, and which is kind of strange for. I mean, Wenatchee is 35,000 people.
Right.
East Wenatchee is another
15,
18 to 20,000 people, and so it's not. We're not really a huge...
I think in our society, it's one of the first things we ask people. So what do you do for a living? What do you do for a living? What do you work at? And I think it's the worst question you can ask to get to know someone.
Okay, continue on. He actually asked, Derek asked multiple questions. Do you open the door to the game room immediately? Well, when we had our church group over, I already told them that I did the channel, and part of what we did last week and this week is we're just getting to know each other.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of those kinds of conversations, and so the first guy that got here on Wednesday was Patrick, and this is a guy that we hadn't met at launch group at our church when we were setting all of our groups up. He was out that day. He was given to our group as part of our group, but he wasn't there that day. He wasn't able to make it. And so we hadn't met him yet. We talked to him on text and that kind of thing, and on the group app, but we hadn't met him yet. And so he came in, and our shoe mat says, "I hope you like Star Wars."
I think they're called doormats.
Doormats, shoe mats, same thing. You wipe your shoes off on them. And so that was an immediate connection because he likes Star Wars as well. And
He's like, I like Star Wars.
Came in and saw the Death Star indoor mural and saw, Grogu, baby Grogu, and then we saw the Han Solo encased in carbonite, and then he started talking about all the stuff that he has around his house that's Star Wars related, and then he came in here and he was just like, whoa, and it was.
I don't know that we show it every time.
No, we
don't. It just depends on the first.
We don't say, we don't
la,
say,
look at this.
Come look at this first, and then we can talk about real normal things.
Yeah, no.
We don't do that, but it is a part of who we are and what we do. So it's,
How great is that?
It has to be that. Let's see here.
So yeah, I think it's the worst way to start a conversation and to get to know someone.
Have you scared anyone away with a massive collection?
Well, I think they're all a little intimidated.
Sure. Yeah, because you don't.
They come in and they were like, I didn't even know.
Everywhere.
Like I didn't even know this many games existed.
Right.
So, but I don't know if we've scared them. I hope not.
Let's see here. David says, also, I'm sorry for mentioning I got rid of CAH. I won't bring it up again. Cards Against Humanity. I won't bring it up again. Blake says, you're good, David. I haven't played it in like 6 years anyway. Dave M., my sister-in-law will often start to tell a story while I'm teaching the game. One time I said, is this going to be a long story? That's funny. Let's see here. David Brownlee said, Derek S., as soon as they opened the door, I asked if they heard about the Church of Reiner Knizia. That's fine. I'd like to talk to you about our Lord and Savior, Reiner Knizia. Boy, Kevin says, IP Cal. Gross. Go and check back to 2 live streams ago. Sam talked about solo games. Oh, message retracted. Got it. Okay. His last fireside chat was about that. Okay, yeah, so he must have asked about solo games in some way, shape, or form. David Brownlee, I have Shores of Tripoli set up on the table for solo play right after this stream, David Brownlee says.
You better get to it.
I have, where is it? It's up there. Yep, right there, Shores of Tripoli, right next to Rumus on the top shelf. I have
see it.
I do have it. We actually conversed a little bit on the comment section
Nice.
about Shores of Tripoli. I'm going to have to talk about that. Never heard it called a shoe mat, but it makes sense.
I know. That's why I was like, I'm pretty sure it's called a doormat, but you know.
Yeah, I don't know words. That's why I forget. That's why I'm bad with names. So I just.
It's interesting because I don't remember.
I know what I'm
auditorily.
trying to say, so I find a word that means
do
what
that
I'm trying
all the
to
time,
say.
and
It's
you
that
make fun
mat
of
that you
me.
wipe your shoes off on. And that's a
You
shoe
make
mat.
fun of me all the
That's
time when I
because-
make up words.
That's correct. And they're making fun of me for making up words. That's how the world is. You make up words, you get made fun of. So that is that. All right. So what we're going to do now is we have a little bit of a lull in the conversation. So we do have our box from Barn Made Games. Like I said, it is small. It is not big at all. But it's just a little welcome pack. And the game that he showed me that's going to be one of the games is a little small card game.
Nice.
But it was interesting. I'm not usually a huge fan. What?
Okay, I gotta say, I love boxes with designs that they're like printed on the boxes. Like that's awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
You know.
It's a cool box. I don't want to show his. That's why I'm
Yeah,
not
no, I
turning
did
it
that
around.
too.
Yeah. Well, you.
My hand went on deleted here.
Yeah, you didn't get it all. So,
Well.
all right, here we go. So we're gonna go ahead and open this up. I'll go down to the second. It even had a little cow sticker on it.
Yeah,
Did you see
it's super cute.
that? See?
So cute.
Did you get that?
I did.
All right, so here we go. Boom. All right, so here is a little bit of their
What's coming?
release schedule. What they're going to come up: March 2024, Expressions; April 2024, Effortless, Prepping for Adventures; and then November 2024, Seasons 4, or 4 Seasons, I would imagine. So I like the artwork of that. That's for sure. That's cool. Expressions, I believe, is the one that we played in the. Oh, sweet.
Oh, that's
I
cool.
know where that's going to go. That's going to go to her. She puts those on her.
I do.
On
My
her.
bag. My work bag is too heavy because I have a lot of pins on it.
So
you know
this
what I
is
didn't
basically.
buy on the cruise? I didn't buy myself a pin.
Wah, wah, wah. Too bad.
Super bummed.
Oh, I got myself a koozie. I don't think I'm going to use it. I don't drink. I mean, I don't drink beer, and that's usually what koozies are used for.
And you
beer
don't drink
cans.
soda
And I
anymore.
don't drink soda cans either. So, but we'll see. I'll see if I
that's
can
cool.
use that. That's pretty neat though. Little can koozie, and a wooden pencil.
Yes, I love it.
Actually, still has a twig on it. All right,
That's
neat.
awesome.
That's neat.
Pad.
All right, cool. Pad.
Love it.
Now, I do like the idea of this box. It's not anything really flashy, which
Right.
sticks to the
Right.
whole barn made idea.
And the logo is games made for everyone.
Yep.
We make games in a barn, games for everyone.
He just did one on Instagram that was him in front of the barn, I think, that they used to
That's
make it. And it
awesome.
looks just like this.
That's
so here
super
is
awesome.
the game here. 2 to 5 players, expressions. This is the game that we played.
Awesome.
And it's only a 15-minute game, about, just like most card games.
Yeah.
And
I love it.
I'm gonna go ahead and use our trusty grapefruit
I
knife.
don't know anything about these people, but I love this game already just because the box and the little pencil and the pad, like all of it, is hitting all my happy spots.
And so, boom. So here's the rule book. It's a linen finished rule book. Looks pretty cool, and it is not long at all. So it's a super simple game. I will have to read the rules again because we only played it once,
on a rule book. It's really
and we were in an airport. So again, just a card game.
Players are working together to score harmony while avoiding agony.
Yeah.
Cool.
So you have setup card, first player card, player aids. So during your turn, you play a card. So you play a card in one of the 4 different directions to give other players information. So you're basically trying to tell other people what you have in your hand.
Right, without
saying. And
saying
the whole point of the game is for everybody to get their cards played out.
Nice.
If I'm not mistaken. Again, haven't read the rules for a while, but that's basically what you're trying to do. So if you play this, I believe this means that it's the highest number in your hand, or in that color. This means that, I don't remember. So there's all of these different expressions on the card. That's where the game gets the name expressions from. These different colors has different expressions on them. But you're basically just trying to tell people what you have, because if you can get other people to tell you to get rid of the right cards, you're doing better.
Okay, got it.
And you're trying to work together in order to do it. But it's a neat game that I enjoyed playing with me, Isaac, and Armando, and looking forward to getting this one to the table because it'll be fun. But
we have 5. We have all kids here. We can play.
This is I don't know if it's going to come in. Now I understand what Armando was because when we were talking, one of the things that I made, I taught them how to play NAR.
Yes.
And one of the things that I said about NAR was how compact it was, and how there was like no extra room in the box. And Armando shot a look over to Isaac, and I saw it.
You're like,
because I know he was probably thinking of this box right here, because this is the game right here.
You don't need.
This is the game.
But
It's got a little bit extra room in there, and that's exactly what he said. The rule book needs to be a certain size. I don't want it to be too small.
Right.
And so that's funny. That's just a little connection back to that conversation that we had.
I love this so much already.
That is expressions, and then April 2024, effortless prepping for adventure, which is coming to Kickstarter in April, and then November 2024, season 4. Oh, okay. So I didn't even
want to read that.
I will read it.
You can't read it out loud.
It says, "Hey Sam." Yes, it can. I'm going to read it first, and then we'll see if I can read it.
You can. I read it all. I've already read it all. You can read out loud.
I can. Yeah, you see, you read fast anyway. So, this says, "Hey Sam, love getting to play games with you at the airport after PAX. Hoping to see you at Dice Tower West." He is going to be at Dice Tower West, and he actually did a little Instagram, I don't know what they're called, post.
Nice.
We'll just call it a post. Talking about that they will have some expressions there for you to buy, some copies of expressions to buy. Then they'll also have some stuff, some copies that you'll actually be able to look at some of these other games as well at Dice Tower West. So come by, stop, try it out. Hope you have as much fun with it as we have. I'd love to get together one of these days as we're not that far away from each other. Yeehaw! Isaac and Megan Meyer. Catch you on the flip side. Expressions 3/15/2024. That's cool.
That is super cool.
So
that I loved.
That was a cool little unboxing that we are able to get.
I'm super in love with this already, just because of the way they packaged it and the way they included everything.
Yeah.
And all of that. I super love that.
Derek S. says, "I wondered if Floridians call it shoe mats. I am not a Floridian. Do not call me a Floridian, please.
Well,
I am not Florida man. I am not a Floridian. I lived there for many years. I am a Texan. You can take the boy out of Texas, but you can't take Texas out of the boy. That is the long and the short of it. I am from Texas. I am a Texan that have lived in many different places. I am not a Floridian. I am not offended. However, I'm very close to it. I'm just joking. I'm not offended at all. But I just wanted to make that delineation. I lived in Florida for a long time.
I've lived other places, but I am a Washingtonian. Through and through. My family was in Washington before Washington was a state. Na 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 na.
Crickets.
Don't care.
All right, so that's that. Let's see here. Tom Vassell. Well, let's go with Dave first. Blake says, grapefruit knife time. That's right. It's this right here. Are there any games that you did not initially like, but then liked it later after more plays? There are very few games that are like that. If you don't, we were just actually talking about this a little bit in a different context. She was telling me earlier that she's reading a book by Sarah J. Maas right now, and she said, I was flabbergasted by this.
And it wasn't quite 400, it was like 200, but the point is.
Sure, spoilers. She said, I don't know, the book really didn't grab me for the first 400 pages. And I was like, you kept reading a book for 400 pages that didn't grab you?
Clarification.
Cut your losses. Move on.
It was interesting. I liked it. But when I read, I frequently forget to put the books down. So I was reading it and enjoying it, but it wasn't like at the level where I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't put this book down.
No. But anyway.
So I enjoyed the first 400
that
pages.
Anecdote to bring into where I'm talking about here.
60 pages left. I'm dying to finish it.
If a game doesn't reach me in the first
try
or second, maybe third try,
you're done.
I'm done. So I guess, yes, there have been some games where I was like, nah, I don't know if I like that very much. Second game, okay, I see what it's doing. I see how I could probably. Third game, okay, I get it. And then fourth game, all right, yeah, I'm going to keep this. I guess there have been games that are like that.
I mean, we played Greek Horrified wrong.
Oh, yeah. That doesn't count.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah,
but it left that sour taste in my mouth.
Yeah,
I was like, I don't think I'm going to like this.
But Greek Monsters, we already had the original, the Hollywood Monsters, or
the American Monsters,
Paramount Monsters, and then we had American Monsters. We had those two,
and we liked those
under our belts, and we knew we liked those a lot. So we gave Greek Monsters many more tries before we made the delineation. Okay, yes, we like this. We're keeping it.
Right. So
it
I
could
do
happen,
see
that. Yeah.
You know, if we played something wrong, like at beginning, then that would definitely affect how we.
But that's
liked the game.
That's my fault. That's not the game itself. So the game itself, if I don't like the game itself and I'm not doing anything wrong, I usually give it less tries.
That's
so
valid.
usually I'm not won over many tries. Tom Vessel never seems to care about covering his address on the boxes he would open on video. I could see his home address numerous times. Well, it's okay.
I shouldn't care as much. I mean, we live in a small valley.
Yeah.
But we have 3 teenagers that live here, and I just don't.
Well, Tom has like 15.
He has a lot.
I'm just kidding. He doesn't have 15 kids.
But he does have a slew of family.
Stickers for that Stanley mug. This is not a Stanley mug. This is I had to look at the name. This is a Tervis, and it is a normal-sized
It's not a giant
cub. It's not
I need to put a Flipside sticker over this,
whatever.
too. Because I don't use oats overnight. I just
Thank
like
you for
the
reminding me I needed a drink. Let's see here. Tom addressed the address thing once. Blake says. He said, I don't care. You can find it if you really wanted to anyway.
Yeah, that's valid.
And that is the case. I guess the whole thing, though, is that don't make it easy. That's the whole thing. Don't make it easy for somebody. Because there are people out there that will do wrong if you make it easy for them to do so.
No, they can find it anyway.
Yep, they can. Let's see here. I don't think the addresses can be seen anymore on his boring unboxings, though. This is correct. He doesn't, because he really doesn't want people. Which is strange. I think he cares less about his personal address. He doesn't want people to find out where the studio is.
That's valid.
He doesn't know why. He doesn't want people to know where the studio is.
To show up and be.
And just show up.
Yeah.
And we talked about that many times. We were asked to be very close-lipped about the address of the studio.
Good.
Is this co-op? They're talking about expressions. Yeah, it kind of is. It is a cooperative game where you're trying to get everybody's trying to get all of the cards out of their hands, and you're trying to do so. Again, I don't know if it's actually a cooperative game. Give me that. Video camera is way. Let me see. No, it's not talking. He's talking about something else. Video camera is way too close on those box openings. Can you tell Tom to zoom out Sam? No, I can't do that. Let's see. Players are working together to score harmony and trying to avoid agony. Doing this by giving suggestions and correctly guessing cards in each other's hands. So yes, it's a cooperative game.
That is not where it goes.
I'll get it later, babe. Tom opens the boxes upside down now. Your rulebook doesn't need to be the same size as the box. Tom just made a video in which he talked about that.
Oh, nice.
Well, again,
I mean, this isn't a
the
large box.
The publisher can do what they want to do. That's just the long and the short of it. Isaac wanted the rulebook not to be too small, so he made the box a little bit bigger.
It's perfectly fine.
Nothing wrong. It's still a really small box.
It is a very small
really
box.
small box.
Fits in your bag.
So it's not like they're putting a card game into a Ticket to Ride box.
Right.
Which some games have done that.
Really?
That's egregious. Yeah, I'll have to show you. If you open some of these boxes, take the box insert out.
And then just put the pieces
in. The amount of stuff that's in the box is like a third.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Oh.
Absolutely. Some publishers are super egregious about doing that. And the reason why, there's a marketing reason, you want the box to
fit on these shelves and
be visible in a store.
No, I get it.
Be visible in a store.
This is hard to be visible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I get it. Let's see here. The older I get, the larger I like the rule books. That's what I'm talking about, Derek. Blake says, I've always had really bad eyesight, so yeah, larger is better. Derek said, Tiny Epic Games have Tiny Epic rule books, and I need to buy some Tiny Epic glasses. He didn't put in Tiny Epic, but I read Tiny Epic glasses as Derek said that. David Brownlee, there is probably a psychological element that allows you to charge more for a small box game rather than just a deck of cards. There is that. I don't think Barn Made Games is doing that. I don't know what they're charging for expressions. I haven't looked that up. However, I don't think that's what they're doing. He just didn't want the rule book to be so small that you had to use magnifying glasses to read the rules. Let's see. Being from Texas doesn't make you a Texan. I disagree.
Being a Texan makes you a
My
Texan.
dad grew up in New York, but doesn't identify as a New Yorker. There are shirts that you can buy in Texas that says, I'm not from Texas, but I got here as fast as I could.
That's funny.
That is true. Yes, sir.
That's funny.
Sam is not a Floridian. Not all capital letters. That is clear. Yes, that is. Thank you very much. Fee did a rolling laughter emoji next to 400 pages.
I'm just saying, I enjoyed the first 400 pages. I wasn't saying I didn't enjoy it. I just said it wasn't as amazing as the last 400 pages. The last 400 pages of the book I haven't put down. Sam's been making fun of me the whole time. I was literally reading 10 minutes before our live because I had 10 minutes, so I was like going to read for 10 minutes. So he's making fun of me because I haven't put it down. So the first 400 pages were good. Shut up. My first 400 pages were good, but the last 400 pages were really good. Shush.
Not to say anything.
Just shush. Shush.
Let's see
You don't
here.
get to talk to me about my book addiction.
Blake says, I always finish books. My thing is like, if I don't finish it, then I can't have a proper opinion on it.
That's valid.
Huh. Interesting. Sam becoming a Washingtonian now.
Yep.
Nope. I give a book one chapter. If it doesn't grab me, it's toast.
Oh,
He says. That's what I'm talking about.
I didn't say it didn't grab me. I just said it wasn't
You
as good
did.
as the last 400
You
pages.
did say those words. You said
It was harder
it
to
didn't
get into.
grab me in the first 400 pages. I was like, that's why I was so flabbergasted. I was like, if it doesn't grab you in the first 20
No,
pages.
I read
Put
the
it down.
first 400 pages. It just didn't make me have that, like, oh my gosh, I can't put this book down. There's a difference.
400 pages. Read an encyclopedia. I was not crazy about Space Base at first, but then liked it after another play with a different group.
Yeah, see, maybe the group has a
That's
lot
a
to do
valid
with it.
point.
That's a very valid.
Sometimes the group that you play a game with is all, like for example, Sheriff of Nottingham. Sheriff of Nottingham is a game
Oh, yeah,
that
yeah.
if you
Blood
play it
Thank
with
You.
the
Yeah,
wrong
yeah.
people,
Yeah, you
it
don't
is
like it.
not very fun at
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
But if you play it with the right people, it's one of the best games ever made. Because you can
Right.
have so much fun with that. But if you're in a group of people that
Okay.
don't really want to have extraneous fun, they want to derive their fun from the mechanisms and all that kind of stuff, which is also valid, don't get me wrong. But if you're playing Sheriff of Nottingham with that kind of group, you're probably not gonna have fun. It's
Right,
not
right.
very mechanically rich. But thematically,
Yeah, super fun.
you can have so much fun with Sheriff of
Right.
Nottingham. Wow, Fee, Blake says, I don't know that I've ever been grabbed by a first chapter. The first chapter is almost never good. Well, you've probably read more books. And I don't mean that as a put down, okay? But it's just, for me, it's like, is a Wendy's hamburger good? Yes, it's good.
Mm-hmm.
But if you give that Wendy's hamburger to Gordon Ramsay, because his palate, he will probably have a different opinion on the matter, right?
Sure.
That's how I look at book reading. The more you read books, the more your book reading ballot changes. I
agree. We should frame this and post it on the walls of our house for our family.
But I still think...
So therefore they
No. Don't go too far down that road. I gave you an inch. Don't take a mile. Look, but after one bite, Gordon Ramsay will be able to say, that's crap. So after a chapter, you should be able to say...
I have had books I
Yeah.
haven't finished because I couldn't.
You're right.
I didn't.
I bought like 3 of them for our first birthdays together, and you didn't read.
I did read all 3 of them.
You did not.
I did. I
When?
just didn't love
When I was
them.
asleep?
No, I read them, but it took me a year to read those 3 books.
I doubt it.
I didn't love them.
I never saw her
I
reading
didn't
these
love
books.
them.
I saw
Okay.
her reading them for like a couple
Look,
weeks.
he
then they
bought
got
me
put
this
away.
one, and I read the first. He bought it for me at the airport, and
Coming
I
back
read.
from the-
And I read like 75 pages before we even got on the plane.
Mm-hmm.
So don't say I don't love the books you don't get me. That's not true. I just
don't
didn't
love
love
the books you don't get me.
No, I don't. I don't.
I can agree
I
with
don't
that.
love the books you get me. No, I can't say. I don't know how to say that in a sentence. What I'm saying is, it has to be the right book. I have to. So yes, I liked the first 400 pages. That's why I kept reading.
You got roped into it, and I'm going to make you do it now because they're asking for it. We
What?
need a top 10 books list from you.
Okay,
You're going to do it.
done.
Period. End of discussion. Full stop.
Done. Would you like it right now? Because I could do it.
He says, back to this. I can sometimes tell by the first page if I like a book, Fee says.
Yeah.
Probably because I have the patience of a gnat. I have poor patience also, though, but I just tell myself it could get better. I get that. You do that, and then sometimes It often doesn't, I think.
Right.
But yeah. Just thinking, there aren't many jet fighter board games, Sam. Do you know of any good ones out there, real-life theme ones? No.
Top Gun.
Again, that is the one that immediately came to mind.
It's not
But
real
then
life.
he said real life,
That's
and I
not
was
real
like,
life.
nope,
No,
not
it's
going to
not
mention
real
Top
life.
Gun.
Well, come on. You got a volleyball game. You got it.
I will say that the Top Gun strategy board game, there's not a whole lot of strategy there, but it is fun.
It is fun.
And it's super nostalgic. But yeah, it's not real life at all. But it's fun. I like it. And it's not like super gamer heavy fun. It's just nostalgic. I liked that movie. This is a cool retelling of that movie. I don't love the books you don't get me is the same as saying don't love what I haven't played. Yes.
Right. I said it wrong. I get words mixed up, but the point is, he's right. Those 3 books did not thrill me.
Go Niners. That was
Super
just
Bowl
like
tomorrow.
out of the blue.
Super Bowl tomorrow.
Super Bowl is tomorrow, I know. Karen says,
We have a
no
big-
Niners.
We have a very big Super Bowl plan tomorrow. Sam's going to be in the studio working on some editing, and I'm going to be with my nose in my book.
No, see, the Super Bowl doesn't happen during the day. It's at night.
It's in the evening.
So in the
Afternoon.
afternoon, I'm going to be recording a review, yes.
Right.
In
I
the
will be
evening,
finishing my
we
book.
are probably going to try to find a way to watch the Super Bowl.
I used to host like this big Super Bowl party with 30 people at my house and 20 kids.
I am actually rooting for the Niners.
Yeah.
I have a connection to the Niners in a couple of different ways. I lived in the San Francisco Bay Area for a year. That is not the connection that I'm talking about. Mike Singletary, one of my favorite NFL players, used to be the coach. I believe also, maybe I'm wrong. I think one of the Harbaugh boys used to be the coach, or a coach, one of the secondary coaches. I don't know. And I also like Brock Purdy. I think Brock Purdy's a good kid. And now, again, that's not a total judgment on his entire character. I don't know the guy from Adam, but he seems like a good individual. And so I'm down with him pulling out all the stops. And frankly, I think the Chiefs have had too many opportunities in the past few years, and I'm kind of tired of watching them play for the Super Bowl.
I used to make a big party and do this huge thing of food, and tomorrow I'll be like, we got some food.
Sure.
I got it.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yep. The Whoopie says, I am in for your top 10 book, Jessie.
I'm all over it. I could do it right now.
No, you couldn't. That's all just show. That's all just show. She's not really thinking of real books. She's just making a show.
I'm literally thinking of real books. You know, I mean, I won't give
because
you
you can't think of all of the other books that you're not thinking about right now. And you're going to
No,
start
but
actually putting your...
But I will make a list. I will make a list for you guys. Fine.
Has Jessie ever read the Percy Jackson books?
Yes. All of
I
them?
may or may not have rolled my eyes.
All of them. I still have them in the garage. We have
That's
all
what
of them.
Blake is currently
There were
reading.
actually 3 different series. There was the Lightning Thief. There was the Greek gods. There was
The Roman gods.
No. No.
You actually...
No. I went no. Yeah, I've read those. I've read
What
read
about the
a
Norse
lot
gods? Do they have that too?
No, they don't.
Then I don't like the books.
I've read a lot of young adult books. Like the Percy Jackson series, that's considered young adult. It's like kids' books. Harry Potter is kids' books.
Used to work at Barnes & Noble. I know.
So don't give me the eyeball. Jeez Louise.
I love messing with her. It's really simple. It's really easy.
That's not fair. That's not fair, I tell you. I'm going to pick up my book right now.
I'm
while I
reading.
wait for
I'm
Sam to
reading.
continue
I'm reading the
talking.
Percy Jackson series right now too. It's really cool.
Reading it on Disney Plus.
It's really cool. It's a pictorial version. I get through chapters like that. It takes me about, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes.
Reading it on Disney Plus does
Bam,
not
bam, bam.
count.
In and out. Efficiency, baby.
Yeah.
Let's see. Blake says, I'm going to miss the Super Bowl. He has to work. I had to really work to get through East of Eden, Ryan Moore says, but I was so glad I did. Fantastic book. Jim Harbaugh, the now new Chargers head coach, used to be the 49ers head coach. I thought so. And he lost the Super Bowl coaching against his brother.
Wow.
I knew there was a connection.
That's a good story.
Because John Harbaugh coached the Ravens, and I think it was the 49ers versus the Ravens.
That's
and
cool.
He lost. Yeah, I got it. But Jim Harbaugh used to be the coach of the Bears. Mike Singletary, inside linebacker for the Bears for the longest time. And actually his entire career, he was a Bear. He didn't play for any other team, which I thought was cool. He went from Baylor in Texas to Chicago and spent his entire
Rest of the time.
career in Chicago and retired. He's in the Hall of Fame now. He coached for the 49ers for a while. I don't think they did very well though. But he was it was great to see his intensity on the side of on the field again. He was his stare. Oh my gosh. I would have hated to have that stare looking at me across the line of scrimmage. That would have given me ugh. Carl Hyacin books are fun. I don't know any of these people. Can't think of what you're not thinking about. That's exactly correct. Exactly correct. Yes, 3 different series with a new book coming out in September, Blake says.
I heard that.
There is a Norse Gods series, Jessie. It's Magnus Chase. He's Annabeth's cousin. Who are those people?
Characters from the books.
Who cares? Who?
Don't.
Yeah. Not the Carl Hyacin kids books, the crime comedy books. Seahawks just got one of the Harbaughs. Yeah, I saw that too. Speaking of Bears, Devin Hester, who also played for the Seahawks, is now in the Hall of Fame, as he should be. One of the best kick returners in history. Yep, Devin Hester, number 23 from the Bears. I remember I think the last Super Bowl the Bears were in, he ran the opening kickoff back for a touchdown. And I was like, oh, we're going to win. And then they flashed a graphic up and said, the last time, it was something like this. I'm going off of, you know how long it's been since the Bears were in the Super Bowl. But at that point, he ran it back. It was either the halftime or the opening kickoff, one of the two. He ran it back for a touchdown, and then they flashed a graphic up on the screen. The last time a team's returner ran the opening kickoff back for a touchdown, they lost. Oh. And I was like, why you want to put that juju on us right now? And sure enough, they lost. That was the last time the Bears won the Super Bowl. Let's see. Are there any books that Jessie has read that she thinks would be a good board game?
Well, we play Princess Bride.
True.
So there's one right there.
So
we've played Princess Bride. That would be a good board game. And it is. And we've played it.
Go a little bit deeper, though. Put some thought into it. What other books have you read? Like those top 10 that you were thinking about just a few minutes ago that you really weren't thinking about.
Well,
you were just kind of
we played a Sarah J. Maas, Embers of...
That's already a board game.
I know.
Books that you have read that will be good board games that don't have a board game already.
A lot of my books are traditional. Like, you're not going to have a Gone with the Wind board game. You're not going to have...
Thank you.
Anna Green Gables. There's not a lot of things you can make a board game out of it.
I would imagine you can make a board game out of anything. Whether it's a good
you
board
could,
game or not.
a good game. You probably could on Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. because the concept of the book is
Time travel.
time travel.
Yeah.
So you could probably have a good board game book out of that.
That would be an interesting concept. A lot of books that, a lot of board games that try to do time travel,
Right.
it's a little bit off.
Yeah.
It's a little bit hard.
That's
There have been some. There was one, I can't remember the name of it, but you can actually you go back in time to provide yourself with a future bonus later on in the game.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's
Now this would have to be set up like I could almost visual. You'd have to have it set up so that you're back in the 1600s, but if you do too many things that are from the 1940s, you're gonna get tried as a witch.
she's a witch.
Yes, that's in there.
Burn
So that would be
her!
kind of fun. I would definitely be into that. Just not the-
That's a good answer. Good answer. Outlander. I'd be interested to see if
Because-
there was already an Outlander because it's a popular HBO series, I think.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. It was
Yeah.
too graphic.
Yeah, well, that's what HBO does.
There are parts in the book that are too graphic, but I love all 13 books. I've read them all. And all the graphic novels and all the side stories that go with it. So,
Who's the only NFL team to make 4 consecutive Super Bowls and lose them all?
I don't know, the Seahawks.
No, the Buffalo Bills.
Oh.
94, 92, 93, 94.
Really? No, you said 94 twice.
No, 91, 92, 93, 94. Maybe I said 94.
Really, the
twice.
whole in that section too.
Yeah,
in
well,
a row.
That's what the
interesting.
question was. The only NFL to make it
Lose.
to 4 consecutive Super Bowls and lose
consecutive.
them all.
That's a super bummer.
Yeah.
Like that would be a town that was kind of deflated as
Yep.
a fan base.
Who would have thought Downtown Abbey, or actually
Downton
it's
Abbey is-
Downton Abbey,
Downton
isn't it?
Abbey,
It's
uh-huh.
Downton Abbey. It's not Downtown Abbey.
Yeah,
it's
it's
Downton
Downton
Abbey. Could be the inspiration for a good game, Obsession.
Oh yeah.
Interesting. Let's see here. All right.
I mean, there's a lot of good books that
There
could
are.
be games, but I think that time travel mechanism in Outlander would be fun.
Yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of that, but so let's see. All right, next week. What do I have to do next week? Next week I have to get over to the Wild office so that I can open all of those games and get them ready to be played
I can come and
next
help you with
Sunday. So that's going to be have to something we do next week.
that. I might have one day extra off next week,
Cool.
so I can
That'll
help
be
you with
that'll
that.
be awesome. So next week I start making content for the Dice Tower. So there will be 3 things that will come up next week on the Dice Tower. There's going to be a review that comes up on Wednesday, and then there's going to be a bottom 5 list that shows up on Friday, and then I will probably also have a smorgasbord contribution on their Friday smorgasbord show as well. So those 3 things are coming up next week on the Dice Tower that I'll be contributing on. Now the bottom 5. The bottom 5 is not a negative list. I want to make sure this is clear. The bottom 5 is simply the bottom half of a top 10 list that JT and I did. And the first one that we're going to do is games that have dragons in them. We're doing that for a couple of different reasons. We're doing it because 2024 is the year of the dragon. And we're also doing it to commemorate the release of Wyrmspan because JT is very, very happy and very pumped to play Wyrmspan. He enjoyed Wingspan a lot, and he loves dragons. So this is like directly pointed at him. So that's a couple of reasons why. So we're going to be doing that. The bottom 5 games that have dragons in them. And then the following Monday, so not this coming Monday, but a week from Monday, the top 5 games that have dragons in them will be released on the Flipside. So I talked to Tom, and he said that that was just fine. I asked him if it was too self-serving, putting the top 5 on the flip side and putting the bottom 5 on the dice tower, and he was like, nah, it's fine, it's good. So that's what we're going to be doing for at least in the near future. And then the next bottom 5, top 5 combo after that is going to be games from 2007. So you can start surmising now what's on JT's and mine lists. But here's the thing. The reason we're doing a year-based top 10 list is so that the Dice Tower audience could get a better kind of a baseline of what kind of gamer that JT is and what kind of gamer I am now, because I've changed a little bit. So that's the whole process behind doing the year-based lists. What counts as near future? Well, let's see here. Do you know when your first live appearance will be? No, I don't. And I don't know that we're going to be doing very many live appearances unless, unless they have me to come down there for a, like, again, they haven't talked to me about it. This is just me surmising and giving ideas. Like if they have me come down for a spectacular. No, I have no idea when any of that's going to happen. I will be at Dice Tower West.
Yes.
And I will be at the retreat. Those are two things that they have said about that Tom has specifically mentioned. Dice Tower West, I've already bought my tickets. That's already set. The retreat is something that's being talked about. And Dice Tower East is being looked into. Not necessarily talked about at this point. So those are the things that are kind of coming up in the near future. They haven't mentioned anything else. So just the videos that I'll be doing every week and Dice Tower West, Dice Tower Retreat. That's it.
We'll just see what happens.
What counts as near future? Well, yesterday, JT came over and we recorded both of those top 10 lists. So the top 10 games with dragons in them and the top 10 games from 2007. And so near future is next week we'll have the bottom 5 on Friday, and then the next week after that on Monday we'll have the top 5 games with dragons in them, and then that next Friday the bottom 5 games from 2007, and then the following Monday the top 5 games from 2007. And then over the next few weeks, we're going to be recording more top 10 lists so that we can continue that trend going forward. So being sarcastic, Blake, thanks. Appreciate it. But maybe other people were thinking about it. So there you go. So more post-present rather than near future. Post-present than near future. No, post-present is near future.
I think you guys are making up words again.
They're definitely doing those things. 2007 has some of my favorites. Looking forward to your lists. 2007, JT has not been into the hobby deep. Like, well, again, I guess I have been deep into the hobby for a long time now. But he hasn't been into it as long as I have. So that was about as far back as he could get to make a good list. He could go back further, but he didn't have a full 10 maybe. And so I wanted to start on a year that was as far back as he thought he could go to make a good top 10 list. And so 2007 was that year. And then we'll be moving forward after that. Just going 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010, and so forth. We might skip some years if there were some light years in there. We might skip them. But that's what we're planning to do. Shoe future. That's going too far. Now we have to do top 10 books on the flip side. So that's coming up in the near future.
That will be easy.
And near future could be further future. It depends on how long it takes for her to get it done. I'll sit in on it. I can't do a top 10 books, I don't think.
You couldn't come up with 10 books.
Yeah, I could come up with 10 books. But I mean, it's been so long. I don't read well. We've talked about this before. I don't read well. It takes me a long time to read.
Right. You couldn't get through this in
That would
2.5 weeks.
That would take me months, probably.
Right.
Because I look at it and I'm already.
And you get a
It's
little
daunting.
anxious. Nah.
It's daunting.
Look, I only have a few pages left.
That would no. When I read, I do not read fast.
Right.
I look at and I know I can learn how to read fast, but
No.
I've talked to people who speed read, and you do miss.
Right.
You miss a lot of the details, and I'm a detail-oriented person usually.
I love it. Yeah.
So I don't like missing details, and that's one of the reasons why I don't enjoy reading so much, is because sometimes authors want to put every little detail in there when you don't really need to put every little detail in there.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, honestly, the parts of The Lord of the Rings with Treebeard in them,
Stop. That's a great chapter.
the movies, those parts of the movies bore me. The book parts of those literally, quite literally put me to sleep. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. So, I mean, if I can have somebody with good vision, like and I know there's people out there that disagree with this, but Peter Jackson, I think, did a great job. Now he left out a lot of stuff that people wanted to see in the movies, and I get that. But
Yeah, but they would have all been 12+ hours each if you put all the stuff
I
in.
understand. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
You have to-
You have to have somebody with good vision to put together the same story and leave some of that stuff out that doesn't necessarily be there, and still tell the same story. And I think that's what Peter Jackson did really well with all of those movies. I have read The Lord of the Rings. I've actually read the Star Wars books. I've read those. I've read a lot of other Star Wars books. Kevin J. Anderson, Timothy Zahn, and the names are escaping me. But I've read. I could probably do a top 10 Star Wars books. So I've read. I used to read the Dragonlance novels back in high school. Loved Dragonlance. Loved Dragonlance series. Loved it. It just doesn't. I just don't read fast. So I don't have that much time to just sit down and read.
I don't either.
I know.
I just stand at the counter and read the.
I know. Yes.
He's feeling a little ignored.
Not.
Because for the
I'm not
past
feeling
couple
ignored.
weeks, I've been very nose in my book. And I think Sam's getting a little tired
Going
of
to
seeing the
make
top of my head as I'm in a book.
Silence. I will not talk right now.
He's getting a little bored of seeing this view of me in my book. So,
Jessie's top 100 books. Top 10 rule books. No. Sam
Okay,
said
that's
he
funny.
could come up with 10 books, never said he read them. That is true, I didn't. What about audiobooks? I can't listen to audiobooks, Blake Cavaney says. Not the same for me. I don't get into it as I do reading.
okay, it depends on the reader.
Yep.
I have listened to all of the Harry Potter books on audio because the reader, he's read a couple of my other favorite books on audio, is fantastic and engaging. And I can sit and listen to all of those at any time. And I have. I've also, I've
You
read
went a
all
little-
the books
you went a little
before that.
south
But
on
the
us. You
point
went a
on
little
that,
southern on
I totally
I
have.
have.
I have. I love that reader. He also read at the Midnight Circus, which was great. But I've had other books that I really like, and I try it on audio, and I can't even get 2 chapters in because
I think part of that has to do with the fact that you read it in your internal voice, and that's what you hear when you read the book. So when somebody else reads it in their voice, it's too jarring.
True. I've had books that I've just gone to audiobook too that I haven't read.
That's what I'm saying.
And even that, it's a 50-50. If it's a good reader, then I can listen to a book on audio that I've never read. If it's a reader that has a monotone, or I can't get.
Yeah. Blake says he can't listen. He said he can't listen to them. Tom went back and said most of the audiobooks I've listened to are biographies.
Oh, yeah.
Fiction he would rather read himself.
Yeah.
Blake says I could do biographies as an audiobook, sure, but not fiction books.
It really depends on who's reading it.
David says that reading is more active than audiobooks, but audiobooks are great for road trips.
I was just telling Sam, I was like, should we get rid of my Audible subscription? I don't use it as much anymore, but I have 300 plus books on it that I've purchased. And I still have 12 more credits to buy 12 more books. So it's really hard. It's only $16 a month, but it's like, but I'm not using it, but I don't want to get rid of it because I have all these audiobooks that I've purchased.
Great for road trips. Audiobooks are great for road trips, Blake says, if you're driving, but if you're not driving, they aren't.
Oh, I disagree. I could sit and listen to it. I used to do that with the kids. I would sit and listen to they would listen to Harry Potter. And I actually like audiobooks not only for the long drives. I used to do them when I started living here, like when I started working. I would do it for the 10 minutes it takes me to get to work. I would listen to 10 minutes of that book and then 10 minutes on the way home. Because that's really the only time I have 10 minutes to myself frequently. So I should keep my audio subscription and just listen 10 minutes at a time, and then I'll be done with the book in a couple of weeks.
Would you like me to tabulate for you how much time you've had to yourself to read that book in the last 2 weeks?
I've had... You can walk home. You can walk home. Give me a break. I haven't had any time to myself. I'm reading at the counter while I'm making dinner. That's not by myself.
It literally is.
He really wants to... See, now he's really in a conundrum because this is book 1.
Of 3.
Of 3. And I already found out last night talking to one of my friends that the 3rd book is one of the best books and has a crossover from some of my other characters in some of their other books. So I'm super excited about that. So he might not see me till after Dice Tower West at this level.
Blake says if I'm not driving, then I could read an actual book.
Oh, I can't read in the car.
Yeah. That's one of the things that I can't do as well.
That bugs me too because I would love to be able to read in the car.
Can't read and drive at the same time.
I would love. I can't read and drive at the same time.
No, I can't read a book and drive at the same time, or I can't read in a book. I can't be in a car that's being driven and read a book at the same time because I get motion sick.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Then again, I don't drive, so there is that. Blake says.
Well, then you gotta be listening.
I listen to podcasts when I cut the grass. Tom says. I can't listen to podcasts. I need visuals. So often people will record podcasts and post on YouTube, and I watch those.
Oh, interesting.
Yep. That is a good one. Mel's Board Game Room, or Mel's Game Room. Mel's Boardroom, I think is what it's called. They do that. They record their podcast, and then Mel puts in the pictures later and posts it on YouTube.
Nice.
There are a couple people from Canada. All right, well, we're going to get on out of here. We have a few things to do before our house guests arrive, so we do need to get on out of here. I thank you for joining us, though. It has been a lively conversation. I appreciate it. And we didn't get into a political debate, so that's good. I mean, it is good.
It is good. I don't like political debates.
With that title, I mean, it was...
You were kind of risky.
Had to head that off at the pass.
You were trying to be a little risky
in, I had to make sure that wasn't a thing.
You were getting a little risky with that.
It was fun. I probably won't do that very often. I always need some sort of visual, even if it's just them sitting there talking, or else I get bored. Yeah, there is that. All right, well, we're going to get on out here. We have a lot of other stuff to do. Time to play games. Bye, all. See you later, David. We are also going to be playing some games here in a little bit as well. Thanks, Sam and Jessie. Bye, everyone. See you later, Fee. Goodbye, all. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys and gals on the flip side. Take care.
Bye.
All right. End stream.